with Valkyrie Marketing, and you can see the website there. I work with several types of clients, from personal injury lawyers to health IT companies to sports psychologists, and kind of across the board, helping people tell their stories and share those stories with their audiences to gain brand recognition, to show how they can help, and to just kind of get out there and connect with people and help them. And I owe a lot of that to my work with Ayse, honestly. We'll get to that in a little bit, but yeah, that's me.
Okay, well, we're going to drop her information at the end of it. We're also going to do Q&As. So write down your questions, or you can start typing on the chat as we go through this presentation. If you have any questions, please just type on the chat, and we're going to go to the top and then go through your questions, okay? That is Amelia, and I'm just going to give a quick bio about myself. My name is Ayse. I'm from Turkey. If you pronounce my name wrong, it's okay, just ask me. The reason behind my passion for nutrition and fitness is I gained 90 pounds during my first pregnancy. I went up to 285 pounds the day I gave birth to my daughter. That's a lot of weight. And then back and forth battling with a lot of health problems, I found CrossFit Garage back in 2013. And CrossFit Garage has changed my life forever. I lost close to 120 pounds from 2013 to 2015. So I know what it feels like to gain weight, and what it feels like to try to lose it. So we're all in the same, not all of us, but we all sharing similar struggles and similar difficulties throughout our life. So through that, nutrition and weightlifting become my passion, and I changed my career. So that's a little bit of bio for me. I coach at CrossFit Garage right now. I do the Olympic weightlifting and nutrition coaching. So that is a little bit of myself to you. The objectives that we're going to talk about here today is the nutrition, weight loss, fat loss, the transformation. It is mostly mental. We all pretty much know what to eat, but when it comes to doing it, it is mostly mental, it's mostly psychological. So we kind of wanted to get into that deep information with Amelia, and how she found out her why, and what motivated her to become fitter, how she stayed disciplined, because sometimes we do this for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and we start seeing results, but then we fall back into old habits. Staying disciplined is very important. So we're going to talk about that. How her mindset grew throughout 5 years. Some of us think that this is a chore for us to try to lose weight and try to do having a diet mentality. We kind of need to change our mindset, and Amelia is going to talk about how she changed her mindset in this 5 years. I mean, 5 years is a long time, but when you look back, it's actually not, you know. And we're going to talk about how nutrition coach play a role with her reaching her goals, okay? And then lastly, we're going to have a nutrition program start in June, and I'm going to give you some information about that, okay? So let's jump right into the what was Amelia's why and motivation to become fitter. And I'm going to have Amelia take over in here. And there you go, Amelia. That's all yours right now.
So I can think back to in my mid to late 20s, and I was I was a social kid. I was single, you know, I was hanging out with my friends in Atlanta, and I had a few friends that I essentially just like did nothing but drink and smoke with. And I remember telling a friend of mine once that I didn't want to go out. I wanted to do something healthy. I was like, dude, you know, I'm happiest when I act like an athlete. And I've said that so many times over the years, and I knew it was true. And I knew that I could actually be happy, and I had a suspicion that I could stop hating my body if I just acted like the athlete I wanted to be. And coming into weightlifting really showed me the athlete I wanted to be. I had been a runner, I'd been a cyclist, I had defined success or loving a sport as loving being done with it, honestly. Like, I ran a marathon. I did not enjoy 1 minute of it. I would ride 100-mile bike rides. And I would enjoy some aspects of that, but really I liked the bragging rights. I liked being done with it. Then I found weightlifting, and I found something that I actually enjoyed doing, loved doing, and I loved getting into the gym. And I remember thinking, am I going to have to choose between these two things? Like, to get the body I want, am I going to have to do all that cardio and weightlifting, which I don't have time for? Or am I going to have to embrace the body I'm in and do the thing I want to do? And I found out that there wasn't a choice. I didn't have to make that choice. I could start building better habits and start like layering those habits and start becoming the person that I wanted to be. And so as I started to do those things, not even really consciously, I started to see the progress in my strength and in my technique, and that level of fitness starting to just show. It started to fuel me, and it fuels me every day. Like, I have so many metrics that aren't just the scale or how much I ate, or, you know, even measurements. Like, I have performance in the gym, I have how I feel, I have the fact that I can pop into a squat to get something off a low shelf. You know, all of those things are reminders daily that the lifestyle I've chosen is working and that I need to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that as I started to build these layers and of good habits, I figured out that I didn't have to sacrifice the things that make me happy to have the level of fitness and strength that I wanted. I mean, we've all been there. We all feel like, you know, you have to do hours of cardio, you have to eat 1,200 calories, which is insane. You know, all
Don't
of these
eat
things.
1,200 calories a day.
Yeah, eat that at breakfast.
You're eating, let's fix that.
Yeah. Yeah, if you are over 8 years old, please eat more than 1,200 calories.
Yeah.
But
So the habit layering, because sometimes we are like, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, like we overwhelm ourselves with so many goals at the same time. I want to lose 10 pounds, but I want to run a marathon, but then I want, like, layering habits, picking one habit. Okay, I want to lose 10. Okay, that's your why. How are you going to lose 10? Let's find an action plan. In that action plan, let's pick one habit. What is it, one habit? I need to stop eating after 7 o'clock. That is the one habit. So after we establish that habit, you add another layer on it. That's what Amelia talking about.
Yeah.
She found the habit, established the habit, conquered that one habit, and then she put another layer on it. So you need to look at it as a long term instead of a 1 month fixed or 2 month fixed.
Yeah.
This will become your lifestyle, and this will become your new normal as you start layering those habits. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like my first keystone habit, you know, was probably joining barbell club and getting in the gym and deciding that was what I wanted to do. But my possibly most meaningful first step nutrition wise was roasting a bunch of veggies one day. Like a friend of mine was like, you can literally do this. This is not impossible. This is something you don't have to figure out all of meal prep in a day. Just roast a bunch, cut up and roast a bunch of veggies with a little bit of olive oil and some salt. And I was like, oh, I can actually do that.
Yeah.
Like at the time I was like, I can't cook, but I can turn an oven on and throw some vegetables in there. And that was my first step, because before that I would try desperately to eat in a caloric deficit, and like so many people, I would be starving and then I would binge. Or I just wouldn't pay it, or it was like kind of all or nothing. I was like, either I'm going to be starving and I wish I had an eating disorder, which was horrible, but that was where my mindset was, or it was, screw it, I can't control this, so I might as well not try.
Yeah.
And neither of those was healthy.
Yeah. By the way, hi Lavenda, good to have you
Hey!
here.
Hey, how are you?
Good to have you. We just started and I'm recording, and I'm going to send this recording to all of you guys, okay? All right. So here is a couple of tips actually that I can give it to you, and I wrote it down on the presentation too, if you need to ever go back and look at it and read it. The magic happens after 3 months. If you really set a goal for yourself 90 days, that habits will become automatic and you will not miss to go back to your old habit, okay? Magic things are start becoming more automatic and more effortless in 90 days, okay? Settling into a lifestyle of eating vegetables with meals, drink more water, getting into a meal prep routine, scheduling time for exercise, choosing healthy foods over sugary, highly processed items. It is simple, right? Eat vegetables, meat, lean meat, healthy fats, healthy carbs. Okay. The things are just starting to fall into place and becoming less of a chore at the 3-month mark. Because when we start first time, you feel like it's a chore. But once you keep going, it becomes a new normal. Just like we had to adapt what is going on with this COVID-19 thing, right? The frustration didn't help. We had to adapt it to working from home. Same with the nutrition too. You will adapt it eventually. In 3 months, it's actually a pretty short amount of time. After 3 months, that's where the tricky part starts. After you start to build your foundation of healthy habits is when you can start to apply these habits in different situations, okay? Let's face it, life is rarely static. There are days that life likes to throw different challenges and stresses your way. I encourage you to not set an end date for your nutrition. So if your goal is to reach 10 pounds, after reaching that 10 pounds, don't stop there. Maybe set a different goal, but don't try to lose more. If the goal is 10 pounds, don't be dissatisfied with that 10 pounds. Be happy, be proud, but then start setting up your different goals. Meaning, I want to run a marathon, or I want to join a gym, or I want to read 5 books, like things like that. It doesn't have to be nutrition related, but don't stop there. Keep going, okay? Think of this nutrition part of it as an investment in keeping yourself accountable to achieving your long-term goals. Think about yourself. Where do you see yourself in 2 years? 2 years seems so far, but actually the 2 years already passed. Like we had 2 years already passed. 2 years is not really far. You can see yourself, imagine yourself where you're at in that 2 years. Set long-term goals and set short-term goals. And if you have any questions about this slide, please drop on the chat box. We're going to come back to it, okay? Amelia, do you want to add anything in here?
You just reminded me. Yeah, no, I think it's really important to stress that, losing more weight is not always the goal. Like we have gotten me to my ideal weight class for our sport My nutrition goals at this point are not at all to lose weight. I told you to smack me if I ever said that, and I
Yeah.
know you will.
See,
But
sometimes we get like, oh, I lost 10 pounds, but I am not happy. When you need to be
absolutely,
happy in the present, you accomplished that 10 pounds. High five, right?
yes, that
Don't
is
stress more. I don't look
essential.
good. I'm not happy. You
Yeah,
know, if you want to lose more 5 pounds, set it a longer period of time so you can actually enjoy a little bit more the process of it.
yeah. No, I agree wholeheartedly. I think I can tell you it's impossible to hate yourself to the body you want because I've tried it. I tried
Yeah,
it for about 20
yeah,
years.
yeah,
But if you can learn to find things that, successes along the way,
yeah,
then you can start to, I mean, you won't necessarily love your body every day all the time, but you're going to stop hating it so much if you're in that space.
yeah,
Or if you're in a space where you only like it every other day, you might find you like it a little more each day, and because you
yeah,
start to value what it can do for you, and what you've done so far, your progress is amazing. Like,
yeah. All right. Okay, so the next slide, we're going to talk about how she stayed disciplined. This is the hardest part. We reached our goal, but then we turn around and gain it all because we can't stay disciplined, right? This is where the discipline and the mindset comes through. So I'm going to have Amelia take over, go through her 3 tips and to share with you. And then I have my own tips that I wrote it down that I will share with you. So you can take over, Amelia.
yeah, I think that so when people ask me, like, how I work so hard or how I stay disciplined, I have to actually like dig deep and think about it, because I don't think about it as being disciplined on a daily
Mm-hmm.
basis. It's not work for me anymore. But that's a change I made in my mindset by doing a few things, like setting, concrete goals along the way, small ones. I did not set out to lose 40 pounds. In fact, when I first got my body fat percentage done, I think I weighed around 208 pounds. And when the dump truck guy and I were sitting there looking at it, they hadn't, at the time, the Olympic weightlifting weight classes were 75 kilos and 75 kilo plus. So, and that's about 165 pounds. So we were looking at a 40-pound difference. And I was like, I don't think I'm ever going to get there. And he's like, no, it would be ridiculous and stupid for you to try to lose that much weight. And at the time, and here I am there, but at the time, it didn't make sense for me to try to look at 40 pounds from now. What made sense was make some veggies, make it to the gym 3 times a week, um, register for a meet, hold myself accountable for training for that meet by talking to friends about it.
Yeah.
Those small goals, I kind of tricked myself into getting where I am now. I
Yeah.
never saw myself as the person I am today.
Oh, I love it. I tricked
Yeah.
myself to getting to this. Like you put yourself in a very good situation. I mean, if you look at it into a different way, if you're not a weightlifter or if you do in other sports, maybe registering in some runs, even virtual
Yeah.
runs, even like 6 months. And 6 months from now, when is it? Like let's say end of December, there's that hot chocolate goes on. I want to run 5K in a hot chocolate, but I need to kind of lose about 5 to 10 pounds until the end of December. Like trick yourself. I love that. Oh my God, I'm gonna write that down. Trick yourself to put goals so you can actually look forward, training for it, to look forward to process of, getting you excited
Yeah.
for future. So I like that one.
Yep. And then along the same lines, focusing on progress over perfection.
Yes.
It's even like whether it's you're stronger than you were last week, you were able to run faster than you did last week. Small things like finding different metrics to, I feel better this Thursday than I did 2 weeks ago. Ayse and I have been talking about, like, with all of the craziness with COVID going on, we've had like fluctuations in, mental health throughout the week. And, you always start out great, and by Thursday you're just dragging. And, I
Yeah.
noticed that a few weeks ago, and I started trying to make that change on a weekly basis for my mental health. And so when that has nothing to do with my weight. I mean, it has a
Yeah.
lot to do with my nutrition and how I feel myself, because that's how I feel. But, finding different metrics for how you feel emotionally, how much, what are you doing with your job? All of these things, like, how help you stay in, like, on the track of where you want to go.
Yeah.
And then finally, again, this is along the lines of not making it feel like work. Find foods and activities that you really enjoy, and that fit your new lifestyle.
Yeah.
So when back in the day, when I told my friend, I feel better when I act like an athlete, that means going to the gym and hanging out with my friends there rather than going to the bar and hanging out with my
Yeah.
friends there. Although some people can do both. I can't. But yeah, and when you find foods and activities that you enjoy, it feels a lot less like discipline.
Yeah, it's like more natural. What
Yeah.
are the foods that you enjoy
Um,
that it fit your lifestyle?
I love roasted vegetables. I feel like I've mentioned this a million times. I actually have a snack here that I'm not going to eat here because I feel like chewing on camera is bad, but it is broccoli. We talked about that on a previous webinar,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I just wanted to show that's yep. I'm going to be snacking on broccoli when
Okay.
I get done here.
I mean, it
But
can be anything. It can be fruits. It can
right,
be
it's
like healthy treats.
and vegetables are not the only thing I eat.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
absolutely had a sandwich for lunch. I eat bread.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, as find these things, like, I have found a few things I really like that I cook in bulk, like peppers, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, spaghetti squash, which, like, I really enjoy spaghetti squash. I know not everyone does. So if it doesn't make an enjoyable replacement for spaghetti, don't do it. I used to be big on trying to stock up my fridge with my goal foods, like the foods that I thought I should be eating, but I didn't really like. And a lot of them went bad.
Yeah.
Don't do
Don't
that.
invest in foods that you're not liking. Just get some stuff that you enjoy cooking it.
Yeah.
And I can post some links for recipes for below too as well, for everyone to take a look at it. But
Yeah.
I agree with Amelia. My tips are, if you want to reach your goals, you must shrink the size of your butt. That's not actually your but it's your excuses, right? So it's time to review those long-term goals that you set at the beginning of 2020. When we go into the new year, we all had these new year goals that we wanted to accomplish. Maybe we put too much on our list, right? How is the long-term goal for the end of 2020 looking? Are you feeling like the goal is attainable, or are you losing motivation? Once again, if you put too much goal in one time, you're probably going to lose the motivation, right? Let's look a little bit more deeper. If you had a weight loss goal for 2020 and you're about halfway there in accomplishing this goal, what kind of thoughts are starting to sneak in that are delaying your goal attainment, right? Often with a health and fitness goals, after some progress that we make, our minds started playing tricks on us and telling us it's okay to start adding in more desserts, not logging over foods, not meal prepping or skipping workouts. It's kind of like you're trying to get out of the routine that you set in. It's almost self-sabotaging yourself, right? You set all this routine, but then now you start to get in relax a little bit, and that's where the self-sabotage starts. I've done it many times. So I know what it feels like, right? Um, you know, we may also find that we're using the word but more and make excuses for these behaviors that we know delay our goal attainment. Here's some examples. Example number one, I have had some great progress this year, losing 10 pounds, but I really hate logging my food. I have gained some consistency with eating more real food, but I really hate spending time in the kitchen. Okay, these all are the excuses that we start setting ourselves. Remind yourself of why you are working hard to achieve your goals and reframe those statements to shrink the size of your butt. Reframe your thoughts, right? This actually works. It's there are alternatives for your statements to bring the negative to your positive. So you can think about it this way. Number one, I know that type 2 diabetes runs in my family, and I want to do everything I can to prevent that for myself. I know that food logging will help me stay accountable to eating the right foods and the right portions. This is going to eliminate your excuse. The second scenario, you can change it to, my work week is busy, and I know that meal prep helps me make better choices during these busy times of the week. It's worth the small investment once a week to have a healthier week ahead. Change the statement to a positive, okay? Are there anything that you want to add in here, Amelia?
Not really. I would just say that, you know, if no, I just completely agree.
Yeah, yeah.
No, and yeah, like it doesn't have to be complicated.
No.
You know, it's like, hey, I don't do like traditional meal prep where I have, you know, my actual meals set out. I just cook a lot. I bulk cook everything,
Mm-hmm.
and then I can choose throughout the week. And as I start to run low on things, I'll cook a little bit more. Now,
Yeah.
I am fortunate in that I work from home, but I have had jobs where I had a terrible long commute, and I was in like at work constantly, and you know, I did pretty much the same thing, but I would just meal prep each morning or each evening, all my meals based on
So, I
that
mean, if you
bulk.
don't have time, like, you know, we see in this Instagram, everybody using these 20, the to-go containers, everything is perfect. It doesn't have to be that way. We don't have to
Mm-mm.
compare ourselves with the social media, how people are prepping. Just cook food, put them in the refrigerator, and then you pull it out as you wish and as you're hungry, right? So just small things. Start with
Yep.
small things.
Yep.
Okay.
And you know, and you can find things that take very little of your own time. And there are even like frozen things that aren't super high in sodium. Always be careful of that, because it like the macros on frozen foods can be insane, but but there's a lot of really great choices.
Yeah,
And
frozen vegetables,
yeah.
frozen peas and broccolis, and yeah. Okay, so this is going to be, let me see that one. Just okay. This is going to be the next slide. How her mindset grow throughout 5 years. Tell us about it, Amelia. What was your challenges, and how do you overcome these challenges?
So you and I were talking about this the other day, as we both listened to Ed Milet's podcast, and
Ed
he's
Milet, you need to
amazing.
listen. Ed Milet, he's amazing. I mean,
Yeah, and he had Steve Cutler on his podcast, I think it was, and he was talking about how so many diets, workout goals, all of these things fail because when your brain thinks about your future self, the person you want to be, your brain doesn't recognize that as you. It sees it as another person entirely. It's kind of like when if you wake up and daily gratitude is fantastic, daily affirmations are wonderful, but if they're too far from your reality, your brain is going to say no. Like if I wake up every morning and go, I'm a millionaire when I make minimum wage, my brain's going to be like, screw you, Amelia, you're a loser. But if, I've just started my business, I've got a couple of clients, and I wake up and say, I am a successful marketer, I have clients, I'm going to get more, my brain will believe that because it's close to where I am now.
Yes. That's the changing that statement of your mind, the mind tricks.
Yes, exactly. And 5 years ago, like I said, I had no idea that I would be where I am now. And I didn't believe I could at all. I believed that I could get to the gym 3 times a week or more because I enjoyed it. And when I decided to do a body fat test, I was scared of it. I didn't want to know, but I wanted to know. There was some part of me that really, like, while, at that point in my life, I didn't like how my body looked. Food was my biggest enemy and my closest toxic friend because it was a big comfort. I had, this kind of conflicting background of my dad was an athlete and my mom was a comfort eater and a comfort feeder. And so I had these two things, and my dad was kind of in on the comfort feeding as well. So it was like, oh, go ride your bike, but then eat all of the ice cream.
Yeah.
So
treating yourself with food, right? Rewarding
yes.
yourself with food instead of rewarding yourself with a book or new piece of clothing. That's another change too that you can do. Rewarding yourself with non-food items. So.
Right. And I didn't recognize this as emotional eating at the time, but I've always been a boredom eater. And I realized over the past couple of years that is emotional eating. It is trying to replace, my boredom with food. And I was afraid to get started because as kind of we talked about earlier, I had this feeling that, like, I was going to be starving. I knew that just knew in my head that if I hired Ayse, she was going to be like, you're going to be eating 1,500 calories a day. And she was going to, like, yell at me if I went over, and all of these things that she's absolutely not going to do. But as I kind of tricked myself into getting on the right path, my mindset started to change. I stopped beating myself up about things like having a cheat meal and I stopped calling them cheat meals.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if we have a day where I'm not going to count, I say, hey, I'm going to have a refeed day.
Yeah. It's not cheat meal.
Right. There's no cheating.
You can fit those things in your daily life. I mean,
exactly.
You really can. You don't have to. You don't want to eat a pie every day, but you can enjoy those things. It's not like forever you are quitting those things.
Yeah, exactly. And so as I learned that as I learned these new habits, I kind of figured out that I had nothing to fear, and nothing to lose and everything to gain. And I started to let myself let go of toxic thought patterns around food and toxic habits like going for a pint of ice cream instead of, I don't know, buy myself a new shirt. And it's kind of I stumbled into liking myself a lot more. And my journey as an athlete and my relationship with Ayse really directly they directly led to where I am now in my business. Last year I had been laid off. I'd been laid off 3 times in 3 years. And each time through no fault of my own, but it was really dragging on me. And I was talking with Ayse one day, and she said, why don't you go out on your own? Why don't you do your own thing? And I said, I don't want to do that. Like, I literally was like, no, I want a corporate job. I want to be back in the secure world. I want my 401k. And then I thought about it, and I was like, I've had 3 of those jobs in the last 3 years. There is no security. I've managed to land on my feet with so many different ways.
Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. I've managed to land on my feet, so many times. It was like, you know what? There's a chance here. And within the same day, I had my first client reach out to me. And 5 years ago, I would not have taken that leap. That, I've really adopted a growth mindset in seeing how, like, it's been much more than just nutrition and weightlifting. It's been that as I've taken each step, as I've, become this person who does these things, I've figured out that I've tricked my brain into being that person and taking those risks and figuring out that, I have nothing to lose.
Yeah, throughout your process, you actually taking those risks, and there's really nothing that we can lose.
Yeah.
The initial thing is to starting. I mean, we're always waiting to be perfect. We're waiting for the perfect moment to start. There is no perfect moment. There is no perfect moment for anything. It is doing it right now is better than doing never, right? So start the things that you want to do and those goals.
Mm-hmm.
You will figure it out throughout your journey, and you will actually make the progress. But starting right now and doing it right now is better than never doing it, waiting for it perfect moment. I'm going to be happy when I get that job. I'm going to be happy when I lose that 10 pounds. And then we get that job and we lose that 10 pounds. I will be happier if I lose 5 more pounds. I will be happier if I get a promotion. Like, we're always looking into those things. Find it right now. Being in this moment of the happiness, being in this moment of your goals, that's what's going to make the difference. So I totally agree with Amelia too. Just start now and nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Are there anything that you like to add in here, Amelia?
All I would say is to echo what you said about start now, do something now. 5 years ago I started weightlifting, and then a few months after that I got a body fat test, and a few months after that I roasted some vegetables, and and it took me, if I could change anything, I would have started working with Ayse sooner, because we're about to get to that. Because having a coach is so valuable. But I was intimidated for, and no reason other than my own monsters in my own head. But it's really all I would change is do it sooner and work with you sooner.
Thank you. We're going to talk about that one right now too. When Amelia started, she started her own journey, and then she came to me 2 years ago, right?
Yeah,
Amelia,
I think so.
with the nutrition.
Yeah.
She was already established in pretty good habits. She was doing her own research. She started RP strength. She started using the RP templates, but she stuck into that position where she wasn't progressing anymore, and then where she reached me, that's where the nutrition coaching, individual one-on-one, becomes important. She was eating 1,500 calories with the RP2
in deepest cut. It was about
in the cut portion. The RP diets, I don't know if you're familiar, they have base, cut 1, cut 2, cut 3. I mean, cut 3 is very, very rough. Like, you eat like bird food.
1,300 calories.
It's very little.
Rough.
So you don't want to damage your body in a long time with eating very little food, being in a calorie deficit constantly. It took us very long time to get her to eat to 2,300 calories. It really did. I mean, it took us 2 years to ramp up her calories. So it is a progress, but it can be done. And you need to, commit to that time of commitment, pretty much, with yourself. With yourself. I can only do so much. This is you going to decide and stick with it, your own mind, that I'm going to do this for for life, not with the nutrition coach before, but for my own, I'm going to turn this into a lifestyle. So that's where the nutrition coach kind of helps with the accountability, because when you don't have accountability, we fall off the wagon
Yeah.
a lot, or we revert back. But when you have that accountability partner, the coach or a friend or a suppose or partner, you stay a little bit more on top of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Agree.
What are the other things that you want to talk about? Like the number 2, identify several types of goals to measure progress, not just the scale.
Yeah.
So tell about a little bit about that too.
Yeah. So since you're both my nutrition coach and my weightlifting coach, that makes it a little easier with my nutrition, with setting both performance and nutrition goals. But it's not just workout and nutrition goals. So, you know, in weightlifting, it's like, hey, we want to make the lifts look good. We want to do this meet, and we want to make this weight. You know, we want to snatch this much and clean and jerk this much. But even outside of that, in my check-ins with you each week, there's a space where I talk about, triumphs for the week, not necessarily nutrition related. So things with my career, things with my family, little personal triumphs. And those relate back in ways that you wouldn't really think about. Like when we were talking about how my mindset set me up for starting my business successfully. So yeah, like, yes, if your goal is to lose 10 pounds, your goal is to lose 10 pounds of fat. You don't want to lose 10 pounds of muscle. So the scale, it'll tell you, over a long period of time, I weigh myself every day, but I don't put a lot of weight on one specific weigh-in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, tomorrow is my birthday. I will be celebrating on Saturday. I will weigh myself Sunday. I will write it down. I will forget it because it'll be a little heavier. And then over the next couple of days, it'll be back down lower. My measurements probably won't change, or I'll be a little tiny bit bloated. No big deal.
Okay. Yeah.
But I will probably also perform. I'll feel stronger in the gym next week from a little extra calories. I might have a little more pep in my step from, celebrating my birthday with my husband.
So
that stuff.
The progress is not always a scale.
Right.
See how you felt, like she said a couple slides ago, 2 weeks ago, how you were feeling, and now how you're feeling, how your clothes are fitting, how how your sleep is improved. Because when the nutrition changes, it actually affects everything. It affects your sleep, it affects your mood, it affects it affects everything in a positive way when you make changes in a positive way on nutrition. So don't stuck to the scale. Just compare your progress with other things. Other thing is, you say working through stress and doubts around my training, career, travel, and more.
Yeah.
What are some examples that you can give on that one?
So around when we started working together, I was traveling a lot for work. And
that's true. I remember that.
Yeah, we you were incredible in that instead of being like, well, I'm traveling this week, so I'll just eat whatever with my coworkers, we would have a plan going in. I would know my macros. I'd have, stuff that I would either take. I had the stuff that I took with me on the plane. I had the stuff that I knew I could get when I was there. And usually I was traveling to the same place.
Mm-hmm.
So I could, I knew there was a store around the corner from my hotel. I knew that there were things I could do to stay on track. And at the same time, as we worked through that time, we didn't focus on getting my macros exactly right.
Yeah.
I didn't beat myself up if I went a little over or a little under, as long as it, the consistency was what counted, and it
Yeah.
is what mattered the most.
Yeah. And then most of the time, we made bad choices when we travel too, because we're like, oh, what am I going to do? There's fast food right here. Like, we made the choices. I mean, there's actually healthier options in fast food world too nowadays days. So it's all about making that right decision too. Here are some of the tips that I can give when you start a new fitness and nutrition routine. Don't try to do too much too fast. This is a progress. Amelia's progress was over. She started 5 years ago. She's been with me 2 years. It didn't happen overnight. She didn't go up from 1,500 calories to 2,300 calories in 2 months. It took us legit 2 years of building her numbers up to where it is. So start small, don't do too much, and don't think about it fast. This is a long progress, okay? Keep reminding yourself that. And time goes anyways. Either you do it or not, time is going to go. Time is going to be that 6 months, that 9 months, that year down the road. So it's going to go anyways. Just start with little and progress from there.
Yep.
Giving up when you don't see immediate results. With fitness and nutrition, this is the result is not tomorrow. The result is not 2 weeks. The result that you put in today, it is 9 months down the road. Keep reminding yourself. We don't get strong at the gym because I lift weight heavy yesterday. It's a progression. It's a progression of a program that you follow that's going to show that you're going to peak in a meet in 9 months. It's going to show as a result down the road in 9 months. So put in the work. Be patient with yourself. Have a grace for yourself a little bit, okay? Getting caught up in the numbers. Numbers. Oh my God, those numbers. Listen, Meredith on that one, or book.
Yeah.
Read her book, Meredith Atwood, Year of No Nonsense. She talks
right
about.
here.
It's a great book. She talks about these numbers, and I put it in there. The numbers. The number on the scale means nothing. It does not mean you're less, you're more. It means nothing. So don't caught up in the numbers. We have all this, oh, I need to weigh in this much. No, you don't have to weigh in that much. You will if you want to. We will get there, but don't put it as a number. Just go by how you're feeling, Don't put huge numbers. I have to lose 40 pounds. Make it smaller. The next 3 months, I want to lose 10 pounds. That's it. Like, make that a little bit more achievable, a little bit more attainable for yourself, okay? And then I say there's coaching is valuable. Find yourself a coach. If you have been trying this such a long time, but you're not able to get to your goals, coach will help you with the guidance, accountability, and support. So anything else you want to add in here, Amelia?
Just before we signed on, I was thinking about it. Like, there's a reason we call you a nutrition coach and not just a nutritionist. With a team, with any sport, you don't have a team without a coach, and you are your own team in this. And having a coach is incredibly valuable. As Ayse mentioned, I had a lot of success with RP to begin with. It had ups and downs, but I did learn a lot about counting macros and kind of figuring out a place to start. Mm-hmm. But I was also really stuck with it. I was stuck in my progress. I thought that I had to have a serving of casein protein every night. And I was bloated for a year because my body doesn't like it. When I started working with Ayse, I found a lot of freedom, and I was able to loosen up what I ate and when, and I talked to her about, like, hey, middle of the day, I feel a little hungrier. So, you got any strategies for that? She says, load up on veggies. Done. Easy. but, and then we talk about, recipes. I don't give up desserts.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very rare that I have a night where I don't have a dessert. It is a small dessert. It is a yasso bar. But
still it's sweet, the treat
sweet
that you're having.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's 15 carbs and a couple of fat and, a little bit of protein. So it's not something where I'm taking away from the rest of my day. And also something there, just from a conversation you and I had the other day as well. A part of my more recent journey, because this is a continued journey, there is no endpoint, has been learning how to use more food as you give it to me, because it used to be when you gave me 20 more carbs, they went into dessert. and now it's like, well, if I eat a little more throughout the day, I'm going to perform better at the gym. I'm not going to feel as much like I need a giant dessert because I'm already going to be kind of full. That one little thing, I'm saying, this is my sign for yasso bar. That one little thing is going to feel more, more nourishing, more full, because I will already be nourished. And so like having you in my corner has been huge for all of that.
Thank you. Same as well. You inspire me. I admire you. I'm, my clients are my inspiration. I have to make it right for them. So we're going to finish up with Q&A, questions and answers. We're also starting a nutrition program beginning of June. I will send a link to you. I will send the information. It will have the meal plans and recipes, nutrition tips, stress management, constant communication, all that kind of good stuff. I will, shameless plug, right? I will send information to you. But if you have any questions, I will stop sharing my screen and I will go back in here. Please unmute yourself, ask questions, anything you have. Please don't hesitate. We're here to answer it, okay?
I just wanted to say I have to get back to work, but thank you for this. This was amazing, and I can't wait to hear about the nutrition challenge.
Okay.
All that jazz. But thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Mallory.
You said you were gonna send the link out.
I'm going to send a recording, all the information and the presentation again.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Valerie.
All right. Bye, Mallory. All right. If anybody has questions, I can hang out a couple more minutes. If not, we can part ways. Hi, Lavenda.
Hey.
How you doing?
Fine.
Thank you for joining.
Guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye. Bye, Jillian. You leaving too?
Bye. Yeah, no, just want to say thank you for doing that, and nice to see you after so long.
I know, you're welcome. Good to see you. Keep up with what you're doing.
Yes.
Okay.
I've been food prepping this whole time, so
it's all good.
I saw that.
It's all good. Keep posting it too. I love your recipes. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Everybody's good. No questions. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye, y'all. Have a great one.
Have a good one.
See ya.
See ya. Bye.